Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Josh, and in today's video I'm going to be doing another stimulus check update for those on different Social Security benefits such as retirement, survivors, and disability, as well as an update for veterans and railroad retirees. Now before I get into the update for today, if you wouldn't mind giving this video a like, a big thumbs up, it really helps with the YouTube algorithm in terms of pushing this video out to other viewers like you. Additionally, leave a comment in the comment section below letting me and others know whether or not you've received your stimulus check yet. It really creates a good conversation and lets others know that, hey, maybe I'm not the only one that hasn't received their stimulus check yet. Now, I do try to respond to as many questions as I possibly can in the comment section. However, if I do not get to your comment in the comment section, I do try to answer some of the more popular questions that I did not get to in the comment section in the next video in video form. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump into some of the questions that I received in my previous video. Now, the first two comments that I'm going to be getting into in this video are from two people who have very similar problems. One person received a payment date on April 29th, and the other person received a payment date on May 13th. Now, neither of them have received a payment. So the first comment was from John. He says, "Hey Josh, SSDI and VA here. Get my payment said 4/29. Still nothing. What's up? Many people had a date of April 29th. Just because you get a date doesn't mean anything." And Edward goes on to say, "My information on the IRS website said that my check is scheduled for deposit on May 13th, but nothing has been deposited in my account." So as John said, just because you receive a date, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. There have been some other people that have had that same issue where the Get My Payment portal will say that you're going to receive a payment on April 29th, yet April 29th rolls around, April 30th rolls around, the beginning of May passes, and still no payment is there. Now, I will say that in the vast majority of cases, whenever the Get My Payment portal says that you'll receive a check, you'll definitely receive your direct deposit. But there are definitely the cases of people that have received a date and that date has passed and they still did not receive a check. Now, I did see a few examples of people who checked the Get My Payment portal and they received a date of April 29th, and then that date came and passed and they did not receive a direct deposit. However, whenever they went to check the Get My Payment portal a week and a half or so later, they actually discovered that their method of deposit changed from a direct deposit to actually receiving a check in the mail. So what I'm thinking may be happening in these cases where you're receiving a direct deposit date and then not actually receiving it on that date is they could be trying to deliver these payments to the bank, but for whatever reason, there's some type of error where that payment is getting kicked back from the bank back to the IRS, and then the IRS has to reprocess the payment and then deliver that to you in the form of a check in the mail. So that may be why there's a little bit of delay in there. Hopefully for those that received an April 29th payment date, you receive your check very soon. And if you initially saw that you received an April 29th date, I might encourage you to go back on the Get My Payment portal and see if that's perhaps changed to where they're going to be sending you a paper check in the mail. All right, so the next question I'm going to be answering today is from Sandra. She says, "I'm my daughter's representative payee. She gets survivor's benefits. Will all representative payees be included on the 27th? Thank you." And that's another great question, Sandra, so thank you so much for that. Now, on the SSA.gov website, it initially said that all representative payees would receive payment on May 27th. Since then, it has been amended to late May. Now, most payments have been going out on Wednesday, and the 27th happens to be Wednesday, so I'm guessing that representative payees should be receiving the payment on the 27th. Next question that I'm going to be going over is from Pino Yaka 22. He says, "I'm on SS retirement, went to check my payment tool and it still says the same. Payment status not available. I have direct deposit but nothing yet in my bank. Please help." Now, as far as this error goes, I might recommend first to try typing in your physical street address in all capital letters, or amend the address to where instead of saying north, you might say in period. Just kind of change the way that you type it out. In some cases, the user is then able to be found in the IRS system. There's just some glitches in the system where sometimes if you just change up the way you type in your address, it all of a sudden finds you. Secondly, if you're not found at that point, it may just be that they still have not added you into the system. But not to worry, you're not going to be left out. You're still going to receive a check, and they're sending these checks out on a weekly basis in waves. So hopefully you receive yours soon, but you're definitely not going to be left out. Next question is from Chris. He says, "I still haven't gotten mine and I get direct deposit for my SSI every month." All right, thank you so much for that question, Chris. So they actually directly deposited a lot of funds on the 13th, and they also sent some checks out on the 15th as well. Now, if you haven't already, I would strongly encourage you to check the Get My Payment Portal tool. I noticed in the comment sections of my videos that a lot of people have been reporting that they're receiving May 20th payment dates via direct deposit, and they're on SSI. So I would strongly encourage you to go in now and check the Get My Payment Portal tool and see if you've been given a date of May 20th as well. Next question that I'm going to be answering today is from Barbara. She says, thank you. Now, here's my question. Please help me. I went to get Where's My Payment over 10 days ago, and it says we are sending a check on May 1st, but they mailed it to an old address. I called the post office and was told it would be forwarded to my new address. I did change my address where I have now lived. I filed in 2018 with 2 dependents. I have Direct Express. I'm on Social Security. What can I do, if anything? Thank you, Barbara. All right, thank you so much for that question, Barbara. So since you did do the correct thing in setting up mail forwarding, everything that was sent to your previous address should be forwarded to your new address successfully. So if the US Post Office does everything correctly, you shouldn't have any issues in receiving your stimulus payment. So at this point in time, I wouldn't worry too much, and I would just be checking the mail kind of religiously over the next week or so. I would expect that to arrive very soon, especially if they said that they were going to be sending out the check on May 1st. All right, so the next question is from Estelle. She says, Josh, should I worry when it says payment status not available? I'm on Social Security and I e-filed on April 2nd. I received nothing. Why? All right, thank you so much for that question. So as I mentioned earlier, sometimes if you do type in your physical street address in all capital letters in the Get My Payment Portal tool, at that point in time, they're able to suddenly find you. Otherwise, it's possible they may have just not added you into the system yet. Now, you're not going to be left out of receiving one of these checks. You're definitely going to be receiving it. You're definitely eligible as long as you're not being claimed as a dependent on someone else's tax returns. So I wouldn't worry too much at this point in time. They are sending out a lot of checks and waves every single week. So at some point in time, you will definitely receive yours. Next question I'm going to be answering today is from Derry. He says, if I was claimed on someone's tax returns and I am on SSDI, would the stimulus check be more than $1,200? All right, thank you so much for that question. So if you are claimed as a dependent on someone else's tax returns, then you yourself personally would not be eligible for a stimulus check. However, if someone claims you as a dependent and you're younger than 17 years old, then at that point in time, the person who claims you as a dependent should be receiving an additional $500 on their stimulus check. Next question I'm going to be answering today is from Samantha. She says, I am also on SSI and receive my check via direct deposit to my Direct Express card. I go on the IRS website and it tells me payment not available. I was just approved for my disability back in March of this year and did not file a tax return for 2019. Would I still receive a stimulus payment? Please help. All right, so in this case, you would definitely still be eligible for a stimulus payment. A lot of people on SSI have been receiving payment dates of May 20th. So if you haven't already, I would strongly encourage you to check the Get My Payment Portal tool to see if you've also been given a date of May 20th. They are sending these checks out in waves and on a weekly basis. So your check is definitely coming up very soon. All right, so the next question I'm going to be answering today is from Alicia. She asked, my daughter hasn't received it yet, but I'm wondering if it's because I am her payee, but she is an adult. She has her own SSI disability. All right, thank you so much for that question, Alicia. So in this case, since you are her representative payee, that's why you haven't received her stimulus payment yet. I would expect that to come in sometime around May 27th. Now, on the SSA.gov website, it now says late May, but since I mentioned earlier, a lot of these payments are being received on Wednesday, and since May 27th is a Wednesday, I'm guessing you'll also receive that payment on May 27th as well. All right, so the next question I'm going to be going over today is from Penny. She says, what about people that get Social Security disability? My husband hasn't gotten his yet. And that's another great question, so thank you so much for that. So as far as SSDI goes, the IRS began sending out payments the week of May 1st, and they're sending out payments on a weekly basis in batches and in waves. So your husband is definitely going to be receiving a check. It's just a matter of how fast the IRS can process these payments, and we just hope that he'll get his check next week. All right, so the next question is from Daryl. He says, hey Josh, I owe child support but have been paying each month. Do I get one? All right, so since you have been paying your child support each month, and if you've been paying in full, then you would still receive the full $1,200 stimulus payment. Next question is from Al. He says, if you owe child support, can you receive a stimulus check? All right, so for people that are a little bit behind in child support payments, the IRS does mention on their website that the stimulus payments can be offset by past due child support. So if you do have past due child support, the stimulus payment will be a little bit lower than the full $1,200 amount. All right, so the last question today is from Nancy. She says, is there going to be another payout after the one in May? Is it going to be every month? All right, so the HEROES Act has officially passed the House, and that was set up to be another round of $1,200 payments, and dependents would be included in this bill as well for $1,200 payments. However, it's been pretty widely known that the Senate is going to reject this bill, so then the House will kind of have to revise the bill and work together with the Republicans to create a bill that kind of fits both needs. So we'll see in the end if something actually gets passed. There's nothing that's guaranteed. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, so to sum up this video, people on Social Security survivors, retirement and disability, as well as railroad retirees, began having checks sent out in waves on the week of May 1st, and they're being sent out every single week. So if you haven't received your payment yet and you're in that group, it doesn't mean that you're being left out. It just means that they haven't processed your check yet. So I would definitely be on the lookout, and you should be getting your check relatively soon. I wish you could have received it a lot sooner. Like I said in previous videos, if I had access to these funds, if I was head of the IRS, I would have definitely gotten these checks to you a lot sooner. I would have Venmo'd you the money, I would have PayPal'd you the money. I would have gotten to you a lot sooner than the month plus that it's taken the IRS. Additionally, as far as people on SSI go, they did send out a big round of stimulus direct deposits on May 13th, and they did mention that they're going to be mailing out checks on May 15th as well. However, I've been seeing in my comment section that a lot of people have been receiving a direct deposit date of May 20th through the Get My Payment portal tool. So if you're on SSI, I would strongly encourage you to check the Get My Payment portal tool. It may be that you also have a date of May 20th as well. Additionally, as far as veterans go, the IRS officially gave a date of mid-May, which is kind of a loose date, not a guaranteed date. Not that really guaranteed dates have mattered that much, because usually they end up being later than their guaranteed date anyways, let's face it. But at least they sort of have a loose lip date, and I have seen veterans that have been receiving some stimulus payments, some as early as May 12th, so that's some good news that at least some veterans are finally getting paid, which is really just outrageous and a disgrace. For people who have served our countries, they should have been first in line to receive these stimulus payments. And finally, as far as those with representative payees go, they should be receiving their payments sometime in late May. Now, I will say that a popular payout date has been a Wednesday, and May 27th is a Wednesday, so my speculation is that those with representative payees should receive their direct deposit on May 27th. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. If you did enjoy the content in this one, you would like to see more like it, please like this video, subscribe to my channel for daily stimulus check updates, and until next time, I'll see you guys, and I hope you have a great day today.